Hello, and please be advised that this video contains lots of spoilers for Silent Hill the games and movies, so if you've not seen or played any of those, then don't watch this video, I guess. Hello and welcome to Pile of Shame. On today's episode we're going to be looking at the Silent Hill fan film, Silent Hill Requiem. Now, Silent Hill is my favourite game series of all time. I've been playing them since the original on the PlayStation, and in my opinion Silent Hill 2 is a great example of storytelling for the medium. It's a game that really draws you into this dark, grimy, oppressive world, and like the best horror, it gets into your mind.
I'm here for you, James. See? I'm real.
Even though the series was originated in Japan, it owes more to Western ideas of surrealism and horror, such as the works of Stephen King, David Lynch and Francis Bacon, and it has this uniquely understated tone, unlike that other horror game franchise, Resident Evil, which is more of a fun B-movie.
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right!
Now, as you may or may not know, there's already been 2 official adaptations of Silent Hill. The first film did a really good job of recreating the game's look, but it lacked the mystery and ambiguity. In fact, there's even a scene that literally spells out what's going on for you.
But now is the end of days, and I am the Reaper.
And the second film, Revelation, was just this horrible, horrible mess that no one involved actually looked like they actually wanted to be there. Silent Hill has also inspired a number of fan films, most notably Silent Hill Anniversary, which was filmed in a small town location that really looked the part. What all these adaptations have in common is that they go more for the look, but they never really get under the surface of what makes Silent Hill unique. So anyway, there's this new adaptation, Silent Hill Requiem, which was written and directed by one man, Gareth Morgan. It's taken about 4 years to be finished, but to be fair to him, there's clearly a lot of work put into this. The way Gareth Morgan has approached this is to film his actors against green screen, and he using a mix of 3D software and After Effects, place them into the town of Silent Hill. And the end result is this highly stylish aesthetic, which looks like an early Zack Snyder film. I'm not saying that to be funny, I think they both have similar approaches to their work that I'll get into later on. So what this film is an attempt to combine and carry on the storylines from the first 4 games, but it mostly revolves around the protagonists from Silent Hill 2 and 3, James Sunderland and Heather Mason, or Cheryl if you know how that story goes. It starts with Heather waking up to find that she's been forced to return to Silent Hill, and she meets up with James, and together they team up and do battle with demons both internal and external. And along the way they meet up with other characters from the games, such as Heather being reunited with her father, Harry, who died in the 3rd game, and James is reunited with Mary, his dead wife, and Maria, his dead wife's clone. Also involved are Henry Townsend and Cynthia Velasquez from Silent Hill 4 in the room. Basically, it's just a setup for a bunch of action sequences where James and Heather shoot everything they can see. Fans of the game know that the monsters in Silent Hill are a projection of the psyche, but here they're just cannon fodder. And in between those action sequences, characters just swap exposition and cliches to move the plot along, but they never once explain where they get all their ammo. The thing is, this film collapses under its own weight. There's a lot happening, but there's no reason given for any of it until at least an hour and 20 minutes in, when Harry Mason pretty much explains the entire plot.
There are parts of this world where reality is thin. At these points, other dimensions can bleed through into our own.
And all of this is happening under the control of a villain who's only known as the Lady in Red, who's about as substantial and threatening as the aliens that planned on from outer space.
So what are you?
Complicated, unlike you, simple-minded things.
You see? Your stupid minds. Stupid!
The performances from the cast are really stiff, but to be fair to them, that's because they have to put on these ridiculous fake American accents, which must make their job even harder.
So let's remove that ugly face and show the world how beautiful you are.
The script takes all these characters and turns them into unlikable teenagers.
Hi, I'm Henry.
I'm happy for you.
For example, James Sunderland in Silent Hill 2 is this awkward bumbling figure who we find out has done something terrible that he can't forgive himself for. But here, for some reason, Gareth Morgan has chosen to play him as this grizzled, hard-drinking badass with a voice just like Rorschach's from the Watchmen movie as well.
I've had to put up a lot of shit being connected to this place. And now I'm supposed to believe there's some all-powerful source connecting everything.
Dog carcass in alley this morning. Tire tread on burst stomach. This city's afraid of me.
And for some reason, Morgan has made Maria James' one true love and not Mary, the actual woman that he went through hell for. About 2/3 of the way into the film, he says goodbye to Mary because he's sick of her constant sniping, which is a pretty dodgy message if you've ever played a game. And Heather is still a bit cocky, but still capable. But in this film, she's stuck in this one road, whereas in the game, she could be vulnerable and despondent at times. Critique Quest made this wonderful observation in a video about Observer that everyone in Silent Hill talks like they're in a dream.
This town, there's something wrong with it.
But here, everyone talks like they're in a really bad action movie.
Yeah, you better run.
And it's especially clunky whenever it tries to reach for any kind of emotional point.
I wanted to do something. I wanted to make a difference. She was the light of my life.
Now, one thing I can say in this film's favour is that it does have a very distinctive look, but that's spoiled by obviously cheap costumes and wigs. I mentioned Zack Snyder earlier. Now, I'm no fan myself, but you have to agree all these films have a very distinctive look. And to take that comparison further, there's a lot of parallels between Snyder's approach to Watchmen and Gareth Morgan's approach to Silent Hill. Both have a very clear love of the source material, but they both lean into the wrong elements. The original comic of Watchmen had a very deliberately flat colour palette, and violence was framed as this kind of like mundane but brutal action. But in Snyder's version of Watchmen, it's all high contrast and highlights, and the violence is framed more like a Jackie Chan film. And it's a similar story here. As you can see, Requiem is positively drenched in After Effects filters, and as a consequence there's very little variety to what you're seeing on screen, so there's no idea of tone or mood. There's also tons of visual references to the games. At one point Morgan brings up the menu screen and it just looks fucking ridiculous. But there's also this really nasty undercurrent of just leering, laddish sexism. Every opportunity Morgan gets, he'll put a half-naked woman on the screen just because he can. But the worst thing this film does is it disregards the journeys that these characters have already gone through. Silent Hill 2 was about James working through his guilt, and Silent Hill 3 was Heather facing her own past so she can make her own future. Bringing characters like Mary, Harry and Cynthia back just takes away the value of those journeys. If this is a film for fans, then it disappoints on that level, and if it's for newcomers to the series, then they're just going to wonder who the hell is everyone and why they should care. Just like Snyder did with Watchmen, Gareth Morgan can't see beyond the surface of what he loves. He's too invested in this like blood and rust aesthetic. Now, on a technical level, it's impressive that all you see on screen is largely the work of one man, but as a storyteller, he's absolutely terrible. I get the impression that he just came up with the action sequences first, then filled it out with story later. In fact, doesn't really seem interested in Silent Hill's otherworldliness. All he really cares about is tits and guns, right? Tits and guns. Weirdly enough, it's got a lot in common with Silent Hill Revelation, because that also had like 2D characters, and it just lumbered from set piece to set piece, ended up with Pyramid Head having a sword fight. Now, as I'm making this video, the only way you can see Silent Hill Requiem is by contributing towards a crowdfund for a 12-part web series, which at this point just sounds like a threat. I do understand that this is a fan film, and I do feel a little bit bad for giving it a kicking, but I paid $10 to watch it, and it's 2 hours long, and really, at the end of the day, both my money and time could have been better spent elsewhere.
I do adore your honesty.
Thanks for watching this first episode of Pile of Shame. I hope to be reviewing more movies and TV shows that have flown on the radar, and hope to see you again next time.